or some other such thing, so that you may see. But here, of course, it's meant in a sort of metaphorically. And understand the works of God again. Again, the works of God. We're trying to make them understand. So you can choose what pleases Him, like Deuteronomy says, and reject that which He hates in order that you may walk in perfection. So how do you walk in perfection? You follow the laws of God. Now, I'm not saying that's the way to do it. I'm saying this document says that. So you can, that's how you walk in perfection in all His ways. And not follow after the thoughts of a sinful imagination or fornicating eyes. And now we're going to get the history of Israel told in this way. Column 2, column 3. Because many have gone astray in these things. Mighty warriors have stumbled. It's a speech. From ancient times, probably the righteous teacher's speech. 2nd century BC or 1st century AD? That's what we've got to decide here. That's really what's before us here. Because they walked in stubbornness of their heart. Stubbornness of their heart. I know someone who's got a stubborn heart, but I won't mention his name again. The watchers of heaven fell. The watchers are a species of fallen angel. They're mentioned in the book of Enoch and some of the other literature, the giants literature that someone mentioned. They're in the scrolls in other places. They're called the watchers in the book of Enoch. And the book of Enoch is found at Qumran, not necessarily in the version retained in Ethiopic or Greek or the other versions of the book of Enoch. It's found in lots of places in the book of Enoch. I'm not a big expert on it. Anyway, the reason they fell because they did not keep the covenant, the commandments of God. Period. That's it. Keepers. James, be a keeper. He who keeps the law but breaks one small point is guilty of it all, or of breaking it all, James 2:16 or something like that. And elsewhere James says, be a keeper, be a doer, be a keeper. He agreed, in that letter, Luther said it shouldn't be in the New Testament, the letter of James. I'm not saying it's a perfect Qumran letter, but it's about as close to Qumran ideology as you can get without coming from Qumran. And I agree with Martin Luther, it shouldn't be in the New Testament. It attacks the person who believes you're saved by faith and says it's faith and works working together. Oh, you empty man. And in the end of the Habakkuk commentary, the liar is called empty. That is, works of salvation are works of emptiness. Column 11 or 12, the Habakkuk Pesher says. These are the correspondences that establishment scholars fail to note because they're so enamored of their chronology and have ruled it all out in their minds, because their chronology based on paleography to them is more important than verbal correspondences of the internal data. Well, I think it should be just the opposite. Paleography is the suspect's study, not these kinds of parallels. These kind of parallels help you date something. So anyway, you can read any work of the establishment people, and they'll all be the same on this. So they don't look at this stuff. You may choose what pleases him, and reject what he hates, and walk in perfection. Again, perfection for the second or third time, and not follow after sinful thoughts. They did not keep the commandments of God. Their sons, whose heights was like the heights of cedars, and whose bodies were like mountains, fell. See, they're like those giants on the earth. And, you know, in the book of Genesis says, and the sons of God had intercourse with the sons of men. And that for the flood occurred, sort of like the Greek titans or demigods or whatever. That was considered real bad in Genesis. And in all the watcher literature. These people, these giants are like watchers. Anyway. Their descendants are anyway. And all flesh, we know it's the Noah story here, you see. And all flesh on dry land perished. Okay, we're in the Noah story. But now we're going to tell the book of Genesis from the Noah story. In this is really a sort of exhortation, isn't it? A sermon with passion. And it was as if they had never been. And in their doing, you see, do. If the other translations say anything else, they're wrong. The word is doing. Once again, it's say. Oh, you remind me, I have a drink here. So, yeah. And in their doing, according to their own will, I know some people who will behave like that, they did not keep the commandments of their Maker. Therefore his wrath. Every time you don't keep the commandments, your wrath is kindled. I'm not agreeing with this presentation. I'm not saying you should be saved by this presentation. I'm just saying this is what they're saying, that you can historically pinpoint. Don't think I'm preaching because I don't keep the commandments myself, okay? Don't get any ideas of that kind. I'm a Paulinist. I don't like the way he does it, and I don't like his nature. That's all. I'm a Paulinist. I follow his way. For me, all things are permitted within reason. Within reason. In these things, the sons of Noah, that's us, together with their families went astray, and they were cut off. They were cut off. Paul in Galatians 5. Clearly talking about those who are zealous and zealots who are zealous not in the right way. In Galatians 4, I've read that to you. And they're zealous to exclude, and they're zealous after you, these people. Anyway, tell those who are disturbing you, people are disturbing his communities with what? Circumcision. They're zealous for circumcision. They're the party of the circumcision. They're not unknown. They're the James party coming to disturb his communities in Asia Minor. You can read right through Galatians and figure it out in 2 takes. No one does. Unknown groups coming to disturb Paul's community. No, they're not unknown. As he says in 2 Corinthians, Hebrews are they? Showing his feeling of inferiority, but also jealousy towards them. Hebrews are they? So am I. Super apostles? So am I. There's not a thing that they are not that I am not. And I have worked harder. I have labored. I have taken stripes. I have been beaten. I have other things. What goes on in for about 2 chapters in 2 Corinthians. But he also says they are dishonest workmen. They're not servants of God. They say they're servants of God. They're dishonest workmen disguised as servants of God. I forget how he puts it, when in fact they're servants of the devil or something like that. So he calls the super apostles, the Hebrew super apostles, and these people dishonest.